if you're watching this recording, I've just lost the first 30 minutes as the power cut out. I will record it again and upload it in 2 parts. Henry, any idea where we would start here?
Well, the third times 8 and 13 is
So write it as 2 separate formulas. Think back to like simultaneous equations in grade 9, grade 10.
Oh yeah, you can use time. I just remembered you can use simultaneous equations.
Yeah. So
I just remembered simultaneous.
So you have equation 1 and equation 2. So anyone that's watching that, did you guys do simultaneous equation in Year 10 pre-methods? Because I know they do it in the A class for general. So if you're doing Year 10 pre-methods, you may have actually missed some of the simultaneous equation solving. So equation 1 is, we're looking at the third term. So we would have 8 equals T1 plus 2D. This is how I would write the equation. And then the other equation is 5 equals T1 plus 12D. So the reason I would write it like this, we've got equation 1 is the third term, so we know it's n minus 1, so it's 2. Equation 2, it's the 13th term, so we would have 12D as the equation. So I want to solve, so if I want to move T1, so this equation here, and I'm going to go down so you guys can see it. If I want to move T1 here, to the left-hand side of this equation, how would I do it? What would I need to do to T1, to both sides, to swap the 8 and the T1? So I could write it as T1 equals 8 minus 2D. But what don't I know? Do we know what D is?
Well,
we don't.
Now, yes, but
we don't know yet because we have to figure out the common difference.
Yeah, so I ended up getting the equation of T1. I ended up getting the equation of T1 equals 12D minus 5.
What answer did you get?
And then I substituted that into the first one to get I ended up getting 13.
So
13 equals 14D.
So we've got our 2 equations here. We rearrange equation 1 by minusing T1 from both sides, swapping the T1 and the 8. And then we substitute it into equation 2. Is that what you got, Tyler, or something similar to that? So in this case, the first term is 8.6, and the common difference is 0.3, or minus 0.3. So we substitute it, rearrange equation 1 substitute it into equation 2, which is 5 equals T1 plus 12D. And then we substitute the value of D into the first equation to find T1, which is what we were looking for in the beginning. This is probably the hardest question that you would encounter in grade 10 and 11. And I just want you guys to see this level of stuff with rearranging sequences, recurrence relations, that kind of thing. And just go back and have a look at simultaneous equations. Go back and we'll go through that next week. I'll probably spend an hour and a half going through what I think are the basics from grade 9 and 10 that you will need to carry with you to succeed in methods. This was more about, showing you guys what you might need to work on. So we started off with some pretty simple sequences, some pretty simple algebra. And then we got to this. So I wouldn't expect anyone in grade 10 and 11 to be able to comfortably solve something like this. But what I want to do is equip you guys with the skills and the background knowledge over the next 10 weeks. So that if you come to a question like this, where you're given one variable out of the entire equation and you have to figure out the rest, that you've got the tools and you've got the skills to be able to tackle absolutely anything in methods. Or is anyone going to be silly enough and do specialists?
No.
No, Tyler, you're not going to do special. So yeah.
I'm doing it next year when I'm actually in grade 11.
Okay. Specialist is like a whole nother world. So I'm going to finish it there. I have to record the first half an hour again. I'll do that in all my spare time. The whole idea of this was so you guys could see, so you could see it into your own brains and so that I can get a look in there as well. What I want you to do is to just message me things that you're struggling with, anything that doesn't make sense, anything that we went through then where you're like, actually, I really want to work on simultaneous equations, the basics from grade 9. If you went straight into year 10 methods and didn't do year 10 general, then there are things that we will need to go over. Because unfortunately, there are things in year 10 general that you need to know for year 11 methods they don't always cover. So thank you guys for putting up with my dead voice and mini blackout there. I'll send out an email and get you guys to send in anything that you're wanting to work on, things you're struggling with. I'll come up with a big sort of presentation PowerPoint thing, and we'll go over all of the basics that are required. And then we can really get into the nitty gritty from like week 3 onwards. So have a fantastic night, guys. Thank you. Apologies for my voice. And I will see you guys soon.